right, so here we are in Baltimore. Beautiful, affluent area. Very different Baltimore than the Baltimore where we're going. Everybody remembers 4 years ago when Freddie Gray died in police custody, sparked off massive protests, riots, and violence. The country was made aware of the problem of policing in Baltimore, but there's so many other problems here that were not talked about then or now. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
So why did we pick you up on that corner?
On that corner just across the street, when I was a kid, I was walking to school, and a guy walks up to me. The guy robbed me at gunpoint. On that same playground when I was a kid, some guys tried to rob us for our kites. And a plainclothes cop jumped out of his car. The guys ran away, and then he put us in his police car and took us home.
Didn't you used to run around that same neighborhood?
Yeah, it was just funny when we picked him up. I haven't been around there in a while. Like when I was my late teens, early teens, I was hustling around there.
When you say hustle, what do you mean hustle?
Hustle. I was selling drugs. Weed, crack, anything that I can get my hands on, me and my friends would sell. But like both of my best friends that hung around there were murdered, so I just stopped going around there, and that's what kind of prompted me to change my life.
So you want to go into a lot of funerals?
Yeah, a lot of funerals. My friend was killed last Sunday. Another friend was murdered in February. I lost 6 last year. Like I'm 30 now. I stopped counting after 20.
A lot of people know about what happened here in part because of your photography. I mean, you took a picture that wound up on the cover of Time magazine. I mean, it's really, the world saw what was happening in Baltimore in large part through your eyes and through your lens. So 4 years later, is it better or is it worse?
It's a lot of space for improvement. I just feel like with the death of Freddie Gray gave Baltimore a platform for change, and I feel like now, post Freddie, people actually has eyes on Baltimore. Now people are being held accountable for the things that they're doing, and it's been brought to the front.
The numbers suggest that things are not much better and possibly worse. You had 300 plus murders.
Yes, sir. I mean, to be frank, we're talking about black people. That's who's suffering here. I just heard his story of how many he's lost. We're in a city that has just accepted the amount of black people dying year after year. And we pump money into, and here we go with this consent decree.
What's wrong with the consent decree?
Some of the consent decree is fine. I'm talking about the parts that impact police dealing with the issues that they know can cause violence in Baltimore. Let's pretend that I pulled up on the corner and somebody is standing there, and I know that they're out there hustling. So I'm gonna say to you, my man, please, let me get the corner. All right, and he can move. The foul way, the wrong way, is to jump out on him, cuff him, and call for a wagon. So I do understand some of that, but we still need to give the police enough room to do their job. And the data shows, specifically in Baltimore, there's specific corners, communities, blocks, where the odds of someone dying are very high.
I've been on rough rides. I've had police hop out on me. I've had police officers put drugs on me just because they didn't like me. The thing is, I find is like a lot of these police officers don't have respect for the community. You got police officers that live like in York, PA, they don't even live in the city, drive down here and they look at it and digest these stigmas, and you can see it in the way they react to the youth and other people in the community. And the thing is like people are starving. So when you see people hustling and stuff like that, a lot of these guys, that's they have to provide. You can't protect something or police something you don't understand.
How do you see it? I mean, obviously it's not easy to be a police officer either.
No, it's not easy. And right now, if we look at the homicide numbers, the shooting numbers, the robbery numbers, that's not the police. that are producing those type of statistics.
What we don't say enough in that conversation, though, is when you take the homicide map and you lay over it the map where all the liquor stores are, it's the same map. If you lay the map over top of it where there's either joblessness or people are underemployed, it's the same map. Where all the blight is in the city, it's the same maps. And so it's not like people are innately violent. To me, even the question of asking, well, what's happening in Baltimore, that question is based in oppression, because it's ignoring the fact that we're sitting in the middle of a violent system of oppression that creates all of this disparity, all of this hopelessness. And Dr. King even said, if you do to a people what has been done to black and brown people in America, you're going to get the same results from any group of people.
You're right. It's the same map, and it's been the same map for decades. The same dope spots, and we are on a multi-million-dollar dope strip right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's going to be violence to control this strip, and the police have to do something about it. And if the police need to play fair with the public, not put drugs on them, don't mistreat them, respect them, but they got a job to do, because we can't get them back once they're gone.
You know, there's this opioid epidemic that is usually talked about in the white rural areas, but there were almost 700 people who died of opioid overdoses here in Baltimore.
It always been here, you know. Opiates always been here, you know.
But it wasn't called an epidemic because it was only happening to black
black
people.
spaces. I was popping Percocets because I broke my hand and found myself selling them. Then I found myself popping them more and getting some of my friends addicted. You can't just kick that stuff. The difference is when you get on that stuff, you realize that you really hooked and they can't get help. So you got to think about it. You see somebody get shot, you know, or whatever the case may be, you turn to something. You might start off with weed and graduate to something else because you're dealing with post-traumatic stress.
How'd you get off?
God, like the universe, my family, like I've been through so much. My family always there, and that's the difference between me and a lot of my peers. I have a strong family.
That kind of pain and trauma, you only have two choices. It's either gonna swallow you up whole, or you gotta use it to keep pushing you forward in some kind of way. For me, it's about making sure that murder does not have the last say, right? That love has to have the last say.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
It don't seem like it was that long ago.
I know, right?
Wow.
Everybody protested every day.
You think about his face and his image, it's a part of history now. I mean, like
absolutely.
you really cannot tell the history of America now without saying the name Freddie Gray.